My name's Cameron Smith. I'm a filmmaker. I've been filming the Denton music scene for well over a decade, and recently I finally was able to actually move up here. I decided to put a lot of this cutting room floor footage to use.
Hey.
We need love.
And that brings us to now. The last weekend was pretty busy. Next door to Dan Silverleaf is Steve's Wine Bar. As I was walking in, a Celtic band was walking out, and they were busy too. The birthday party was setting up. They were getting ready for a live stream. Steve was doing his thing. Customers were happy. And of course, the band was getting ready. The next night, it was time to see some old friends playing jazz. I was meeting old friends, Denton legends Mike Luzecky, also known as Mike Luzecky, and Matt Young, bass and drums respectively.
So the goal was to be a wine bar with a couple of nights of cool, relaxed jazz. And slowly but surely it took on this, I don't know, I say it was its own little monster in a sense, you know.
As a funny side note, I first met Steve when I accidentally gave his wife my dog to babysit while I filmed the final night of Twilight Tunes.
We grew from a duo to a trio to doing 2 nights a week to 3 nights a week to sometimes 4 times a week. That trio grew to a quartet. We had people wanting to come and play at our place, and there was one group we had in that had 3 singers, bass player, drummer, guitar player, piano player. So we had, 10, 11 pieces on stage, where our place really isn't set up for that ideal or that situation, but it worked. We made it work. And tonight we've got an amazing group, definitely a crowd pleaser, the Texas Blues Crew, and they'll be playing tonight for a packed house by the looks of it. Having a place where music can thrive, I felt it was just part of what Denton has to offer. There's a lot of music. There are places that have come and gone, but I think the fact of the matter is, you look at the places that do provide a regular musical experience, they're solid. They're great places to go, and I just wanted to be one of them. Again, I don't look at myself as a music venue, but I tell you what, some of our busiest nights, of course, are when we've got music. So I'm happy we're able to put that into the space of Denton and its community, because you think about University of North Texas and their great jazz program, and many of those players really don't have a place to go play. So we are that space.
I've been filming Mike and Matt for over 10 years. They were some of the first Denton session players that I ever met.
Oh shoot.
15 years at least, right?
Yeah.
I got here in 2010,
So almost 15 years for me.
I got here in '07, so 17 years? 17 years?
Yeah.
18 years? 17 years? 17 years
16. Yeah.
this fall.
We're lifers at this, you know. It's kind of a true wake up, and you are still consumed by making music, you know. And we just have been doing this so long together, especially. I mean, we're on tons of stuff together, and I hope that we maintain that amount of work together.
He's stuck with me. He's
Yeah.
locked in. He's stuck with me.
So when we first started the live music, hadn't talked to anybody specifically about it, but I had heard that a lot of times the jazz musicians here in town would just go play for free because there really wasn't a place to play, or the only time they could get in was 10 o'clock at night. And so they'd just come and play, so they had an opportunity to do something outside of school. So here, when we first started, we were primarily having the professors in. And this is kind of interesting. When we first started really focusing on how much we could pay the musicians, we started a $5 cover charge just to go ahead and offset my costs and help craft a little bit more income actually for the musicians. We had a lot of people stop coming to our place when we started charging $5 because they said jazz in Denton should be free. And so I kind of laughed about that. It's like, well, what about all the other music? Well, no, that's okay. And I just kind of shook my head, and you know, and now our average cover charge is $15. And people are primarily happy to pay that because they know it's going to the musicians. I don't take a cut on that, and that's maybe what makes me a little different from actually a music club, is what we bring in goes to the musicians. I try to do my best to communicate that, and it seems to be working. I think people really appreciate it.
Yeah, as far as like any kind of like routine schedule with any kind of like, you know, maybe Monday through Friday commitment, 9 to 5 type situation, we're not necessarily dealing with that, so we have to make our own schedules, kind of find our own routines.
Mm-hmm.
And through that, also find the ways to keep ourselves motivated and productive, because that can also get kind of wild and chaotic.
So I ended up stumbling into something that I've found interesting my entire life.
Okay, I'm Brad Smith. I'm an artist out here in Texas.
I grew up with a mural artist as a father,
My whole life, I never really had to get a job. I was able to just do drawings.
and have always been fascinated by what it takes to make art a sustainable career.
What makes it worth it? I don't know if it's an option at this point. I think it's worth it. I don't know. It's not that really rewarding. There's no big awards. There's no trophies. There's no Justin Bieber type of bodyguards around. It's like ridiculous. It's a difficult, it's really hard. And you have to bust your ass.
I mean, there were times when it was like, man, I didn't really vibe with the gig options that were there. I was having a hard time booking, and so my friend and I at one time created a concert series out of his house. I mean, we just made gigs happen. So there's always a way to create. It's like never stop. Like if you really want to do something, you'll just do it. Who cares? Like, who cares who's listening or who isn't? Like, just do it.
Because there are days where we're slower. And I sit here and think, oh God, what was said out on social media? Why does everybody not like me anymore? But that's not really the case. Today's a great example about what we've got going on with great music. Many of the musicians we bring in, the bands we bring in, I try to keep it on a local basis. But as I tell the musicians, we're a wine bar first that does cool music. And so when they approach me, they go, hey, I want to come and play at your club. I'm going, we're not a club. We're a wine bar that does cool music. But we really have taken it to the next level, way beyond, I think, what most people would think about a wine bar.
It's a social endeavor, so if you have a really strong community and people you love doing it with, it really doesn't feel like a mountain to climb or something. You know, it's just more like a little adventure. But it's daily and it's marathon, kind of long-lasting too, in scope of the arch of how you want to approach this as a career. And you kind of find ways to make it work if you want to. You know.